Woo. We right here in August, it's still hot. Figured today we'll take a little trip here in my hometown. Go photograph a few old buildings. A lot of these buildings are disappearing. I'd like to just have some pictures of them while they're still standing. Not really gonna be nothing exciting today. I may throw in some historical pictures I found online with some of these buildings. We might talk a little bit about them. So today's video is really more just a personal documentation. Anyhow, let's go check them out. These old brick and mortar buildings are slowly disappearing and being replaced by presswood and stucco type building for the cost effectiveness. I love this old architecture, and much like many of the towns in the South, most all these buildings are centered around our courthouse in a time before everybody having a car parked in their yard, to make shopping accessible to all people back in the day. Hard to imagine now when there's 2 to 3 cars in everybody's yard. As we're looking at this first building here on the courthouse square, straight in front of us, yellow building, known as the Big Brick locally, you'll see the sun ain't even up good yet and trying to beat the rain. It's about 6:45 in the morning. Currently, the building sits empty. It has housed a few businesses here recently. I think one of them was a restaurant, didn't make it too long. But it has a lot of historic uses. The clippings I'm about to show you I found on our local Taylor County Historical Society's Facebook page. Tells a little history. This particular ad was in 1923 when it was used as the Burton Schwartz Mercantile Store. According to the ad, they sold everything from men's clothing and accessories to women's clothing and accessories and children's toys. 1923 was definitely a different era. Look at the building in this ad and look at the old car out to the right. Let's fade this old picture over the new picture and compare them here. Another advertisement for the Burton Schwartz Mercantile Company I found on the Historical Society's website was a remodel, and it even tells you who the manager was at that time, Mr. H.P. Pico. This next picture shows it when it was occupied by United Hardware Furniture Company. Their 1910 ad shows you could buy a mattress for $3.50. Mr. Calvin Brandon occupied the upstairs with his cigar manufacturing. According to some of these advertisements I found on the Historical Society's website, from at least 1919 to 1926 is dated on some of these, possibly longer or earlier. As we leave the old Big Brick building, we'll take a right here on Jefferson Street. This first building here on our left, this white building, we'll look at it just a minute. Just from glancing in the windows when I walk by it, it looks as if it is currently being used for maybe a computer repair shop or something like that, but I'm not positive. Not a good photo, but you can see the Mason symbol in the top of it. This next photo, it was being used for the Perry Banking Company. I couldn't find an exact date on the picture, but I believe from another picture I found it was somewhere around 1918 to 1920. In this newspaper clipping, it mentions them using the second floor for the Masonic Lodge meetings. You can still see that Mason symbol in this picture as well as today. In this 1970 picture, it was being used as the Perry office supply, as well as in this picture from 1974. Next to the old White Bank building, this building here, I was able to find one picture on the Historical Societies that I could identify as this. It would be the old R.H. Wilder Company. Mr. Wilder, known by the locals as Hugh, was a really well-known tailor here in Taylor County. His store specialized in catering to the men, keeping the newest trends, including in business attire. If you needed it, he had it. He could fit it to you. The building is currently being utilized as office space for a local lawyer. We're going to continue to stay on this row of buildings, but we're going to move down to the other end so that we can see it a little better. There's some trees in front of the storefronts from this end. I haven't really found a whole lot of info on this building, but I hadn't really looked yet. We may touch on that later. But let's look at some of the architectural style in it. In just a minute, when I show you some of the historical pictures, you'll notice this archway is still on the building. And at different times throughout its life, it also had a cover over the front of it. You'll also notice some of these windows have been modified and changed out. This photo from 1915, looking south down Jefferson Street, you can see the building on the right with the archway in it. Here in this 1940 photo, you can see a canopy has been added down the front of it. In this 1970 photo, you'll notice the hard canopy is gone and there's a soft canopy over just the window on the left. If you notice upstairs in 1970, it still appears to have all of its original styled windows in it. Next, we'll turn off of Jefferson and take a right here on East Main Street. First building we come to was historically known as Oaklands Pharmacy. I believe now it holds some kind of boutique clothing store and a photo shop that specializes in frames and such as that. This was historically the office and business of Dr. Barney Oakland Sr. I got this image of Mr. Oakland off of the Find a Grave website. I've mentioned Find a Grave before, but sometimes I don't think to mention. What makes Find a Grave so nice is a lot of the people that donate their time to posting this type of stuff on there. In our area, I find a lot of this is posted by somebody named Night Moths. Not sure who that is, but whoever it is, I am grateful. They spend a lot of time and it shows. So anytime I do Find a Grave, even though it comes off of Find a Grave, it's posted by individuals who have a passion and love for the history of our area. These old photos also came from the Taylor County Historical Society's webpage. First one's 1910. Here we have a historical inside photo from 1913. This 1914 advertisement. Here's a little closer look at the advertisement. A 1920s image of the building with a shot of the street out in front of the Oaklands Pharmacy. And a 1937 ad that's been colorized, likely by Mr. William Wright with the Historical Society. And this shot of the buildings out of that same advertisement. This next image taken in the 1940s. Notice the van out front of Oaklands. It says Tom's Toasted Peanuts. This photo was captured mid-1990s after restoration. The next building we come to had North Florida Adult Training Center on the window. I couldn't really find a whole lot on this building as I didn't know what it had historically been. Maybe some of the locals out there that know might could tell us. Sitting next to it was the Downtown Cafe. Not so long ago it was open and running. Many of us used to eat here on lunchtime. Very good food. Miss that little place. Interesting point about this building, if we look in this 1940s photo, there was no building here, so this building was built after 1940. The building to the right of this was labeled Perry Dice Retro VR Arcade. I'm assuming that's some type of gaming. We're not really going to get in it today, but I believe that this was part of the building next to it when there was a previous building standing here that burnt down in the past. But we're not going to talk about that today as we're talking about just what's here now. Occupying the lot to the right of it is the Perry Masonic Lodge building. Let's take a pause right here. This next building, the Masonic Lodge building, I'm about to mispronounce it in here, is Lodge number 23. It's actually Lodge number 123. Just want to let you know that before we got there. See here, it says Perry Lodge number 23. 1921. The last building on the Main Street side of the courthouse, currently being used for the Taylor County Historical Society. Originally was the First National Bank. Note the bell out front that came from one of the earlier Taylor County courthouses. Here we see a side view as it appears looking at it from Washington Street. In this next picture I found on the Historical Society's website, dated 1935, you can see on the right hand side there appears to have been another building which is now where the street runs through. And this photo also from the Historical Societies, taken in the 1970s. They even found some copies of the bills in their photos. You can see they have the name of the town on them, Perry. I thought that was really neat. We'll now turn off Main Street onto Washington Street. First building we'll come to kind of sits diagonal from the courthouse, across from the Historical Society. This building's currently being used for rental events, as you can see by the name on the front of it. Here we have a photo of when it was a Piggly Wiggly. It's also been several other things, but I couldn't remember off the top of my head and couldn't find the photos. We'll skip on down Washington to where Washington rejoins with Green Street. Most of the buildings on this side have been tore down. They're no longer here. The next building we'll come to sits on the corner of where Green and Washington intersect. It was the former post office. I think now it's used for permitting or something of that nature. It's still a county-used office. This picture, dated 1934, shows what the empty lot looked like before the post office was built. Followed up by a 1935 picture showing the building of the foundation of the post office. I believe most of these historical pictures here I got off of the Taylor County Historical Society. We're taken through the 1940s, if I remember right. So even though it's kept the same shape, it's changed in appearance. This is an inside shot. The style has pretty much stayed the same. From the corner of Washington Street, where the post office is, we'll take a right and go west on Green Street. This first building here is known as the Rawls Building. I don't have a lot of knowledge on the buildings on this side. Maybe I'll have a little bit in the next time we do this. But I did take some pictures of them just so we'd have something to look back when we come back and photograph in another year or two. See here, this is just an open lot, even though the frontage of the building's still there. That main, I believe that is a salon currently. Building to the right looks like it's for lease with a little archway there. The building on the far right is the old Oaklands Pharmacy, now being used as a pizza joint. These are just some historical photos I found, some from the Taylor County Historical Society, some from the Florida Memory. They range in years. Several years all the way back to, I think some of them was 1920s, 1940s, all along this strip on this side. This last building down here, the old Bloodworth building, it has a lot of history. The gray building on the right. This is a current photo as a pizza place. They also sell sandwiches. Very good service if you ever go there. Right down from it's a place called Johnson's Bakery on down the strip. I found several old photos here. This one here I believe was 1900 or 1910. You see the old telegraph pole. This may have been the 1910 one there on the right. Here's an ad that I got off of the Taylor County Historical Society's website. This is that picture out of that ad. Let's stop right here and notice that top floor. You'll notice the signs and the window. They say Hendry Realty and Abstract Company. So the top floor was being leased out for something different. Here in this photo, I thought that Wrigley Spearmint Gum, the green sign you see, was pretty neat. Advertisements for sodas, lunches, candies, Coca-Cola. A lot of history in that old building. The candy stripe, sun guards over the top. Here's some pictures of the windows on it. Some of the ads that were on the windows. Really unique and neat, 1 cent sale. And last but not least, our local Taylor County Courthouse. It's located in the center of this town square. All the buildings I've been showing you and walking around are in a square around our courthouse. Tacked on the end of this, I do have some historical photos. My goal is over the next few years, every year or hopefully every other year, I'm going to try to do it every year. I want to take photos of this town square where most of our historical buildings are, so that we have something to look back on and compare as things change, especially with the hurricanes and different things coming, improvements made to the building. A lot of changes will go on. So many things in my local hometown have come and gone. A lot of them have pictures. A lot of them there are no pictures. So I'm going to try to photograph as much stuff around locally as I can possibly do. If you buy something that you're tearing down the structure on it or involved in a renovation, I'd definitely be interested in taking some pictures and videos of it. And I'd wait to post them till you either got it tore down or got it renovated. That way you wouldn't have to worry about people getting upset if it's historical or any of that. They wouldn't see it till after it's done, and it'd be too late by then. I understand how it is when you own your stuff and other people try to tell you what you can and can't do with it. As much as I love preserving history, I respect an owner's rights before I get involved in any of that. I appreciate y'all following along with me, and I'm going to leave you just to look at these last few photos by yourself. I appreciate y'all.